Find your meaning. I want to share with you one of the greatest secrets in the codes of life, and is finding the reason why you are alive. I've mentioned this a few times before, but I'd like to repeat it again. Asking the question, why am I alive, is extremely important. There are many beautiful stories and instances of how finding meaning in life actually has extended a person's life far longer than the doctors and specialists had predicted. One of my good friends, who is a well-known individual in the Kabbalistic world, outlived the very doctor who said you only have 6 months to live. He was diagnosed with a horrible form of cancer called leukemia. It happens when the bone marrow production of the white blood cells goes out of control. What did someone in his position do? I would have probably done the exact same thing. Immediately went to see one of the leading Kabbalists of the age and asked for his advice. The man told him, according to Kabbalistic prayers, the first good deed you can do in your life is to visit the sick. This way, you take away a part of the illness. The second good deed is to help young couples to get married. You help those who do not have enough money to pay for a wedding or to set up a home. So you participate, or you even do it yourself. And there are many committees all over the world that does that. And the third thing is to say that in order to accompany someone on their last journey to their burial, that is also very important rule, to walk with them even if you don't know them. Because it is a tradition that even if somebody comes to visit you, you should walk them to the border of the city or just to the front of your house. It's giving them respect. And then they go and they feel good. And the same here. The Kabbalist asked him, do you know why supporting and helping young poor couples marry and set up new homes, and why that comes in visiting the sick and burying the dead, it comes in between? Because that is exactly where you are. Therefore, this now has to become your task in life. You have to raise money and spend your own money. You and your family have to be involved. Seek out those poor people who want to get married and help them to do so. He immediately took upon himself to do exactly that. He organized committees all over the world. I once met him in New York, where he was raising money. Another time in London, Belgium and Switzerland, in order to build support for this cause. He was a very busy man. That this is what he devoted his life to. He found a reason to be alive. And of course, he had a special influence because he was a spiritual leader of the diamond community in Belgium. And there he had a lot of influence and connections. And there they helped him to get very large donors. They also connected with the communities, the diamond communities, all over the world, because they all worked closely with each other and interrelated. And very, very quickly he got very big support. Well, let me tell you what happened. He lived another 22 years. He outlived the specialist who had diagnosed him and managed to directly and indirectly fund over 10,000 marriages in that time. They helped those who needed simple furniture. They paid for the weddings of the needy couples. They bought their wedding attire. They supported poor couples who were orphaned. They contacted charitable organizations and orphanages to find them. He never forgot the rules. Time is extremely important in our lives. It is the biggest gift that we have had, and we do not have to pay for it. In fact, we should pay for it. We should pay or give something in return. Everyone knows what tithing is, giving away 10% of your income. It's not only about money, but it's also about time, effort, and love. Give 10% of your time. Give 10% of your knowledge. It is about mentoring and teaching. Giving is not just about money. Just devote 10% of your time. Doing these things, you can give actually much more of that in your own time. Time can also be your enemy. I'm sure you have seen examples of the story I'm about to share with you in your own life. But before I do, I want to tell you this. We're all trustees of that 10%. That means that if we don't use it to pay out, and it's reserved for poor people and you have to use it carefully, then we have no right to keep the other 90%. And in fact, we're in danger of losing it. We almost think of that very, very carefully before we start treating the money as our own. I used to meet an extremely busy lawyer regularly every now and again. He would tell me that he had heart palpitations and his heart was fluttering. Besides, he was really, really tired. He would have sudden pain in his chest. He thought it was stomach or something else. Having experienced a heart attack myself, I immediately told him, you better go and see a specialist and have yourself examined. He told me that he had gone to see his local GP, who had told him it was a bit of indigestion. Indigestion that can be taken lightly as it is very dangerous. Why? Because the symptoms of severe heartburn and heart attack can be hard to tell apart. If you make a mistake, you pay for it. In fact, it is better not to treat it as a heartburn, even if that is the case. Therefore, I told him, go and have proper examinations taken. I gave him the contact details of the top specialists that I had seen in England. I even offered to pay for the expenses. Of course, he laughed and said that he could afford to pay for it himself. I told him that he could not afford to wait. I used to meet him once a week, and every time I asked him, what did you do about your pain? He would say, I'm tired and I don't have time. I'm so busy with my family, work and clients, and I just do not have the time. I told him, listen to me very, very carefully. If you do not set aside time yourself, time will be taken away from you. You will then have to take weeks and months off from work. You're going to have to give that time away anyway. Take that time off. Unfortunately, he didn't listen to me, and it's a pity I never spoke to his wife. 6 months later, having warned him at least once every week, he had a massive heart attack. Fortunately, he did not die from it, but he went straight into having bypasses. There were too many stents that had to be put in. He could not work for 8 months. He contacted me because I did not want to tell him I told you so. He said, I should have listened to you. Since then, he consults me about all matters relating to his health and heart. On the other hand, I have a friend who did listen to me. He went to see my specialist. Immediately, he had to have a few procedures, but he's okay now. None of these examples suggest that I'm a doctor or can predict whether you are in danger or not. I'm simply sharing my own experiences. No one is capable of feeling what another person feels. A woman having a period is a common and normal part of a woman's menstrual cycle. It can get very difficult at times and make them very, very nervous and impatient. How can a man understand and feel that? You can only feel it if you're a woman and you're going through it. You are likely to get sympathy from another woman because she knows. How can a man understand or feel it? How can someone know and feel what it is like to have a heart attack or what it is like to have cancer? How can a person know what it feels like to have any illness? They can have sympathy and love for you. However, no one else can feel what you feel. The most important mission in the life of people who have gone through a specific illness is to help those who are currently experiencing that same pain. Be there for them and encourage them. Be a missionary in that. You will save people's lives. You'll get them to treat what they have. Always do that if you had that experience. Use it. Use it on yourself too. Take that time out. Always remember that any pain you have is a sign or a warning. If you take action, you will not need the pain anymore. If you do not take action, however, You will continue experiencing it until it eventually pushes you to act. This advice can save anyone. It can help them to stay alive and out of danger. Therefore, remember this all the time. Drain the pain. It is mainly in the brain. Keep always this in mind. Remember, what you say or you do can be the last thing you do in your life or that person's life. Let's watch that very carefully and remember that if we bond together, breathe together, we stay together.